What employers look for when hiring and promoting. And I think the first thing you need to take a look at is, what is the nature of work today? How has that changed over the years? Because that drives what people are looking for in the workplace. Think about today's workplace where it's highly competitive environment in the marketplace. Companies are fighting tooth and nail for limited market space. More and more companies are coming in. The barriers to entry have been reduced. Organizations are being pressured with costs, therefore the staffing levels have been substantially reduced. And what does that mean? People who are working in organizations work longer hours, heavier workloads with fewer people, and that's the reality of our workplace. So if you think about that, and you need to think about that as you're looking for an opportunity, what does that mean that the employers are looking for? So put yourself in the position of a manager who's doing hiring, working 50, 60-hour weeks, has a staff of, say, 10 people or so on, needs to fill a spot, has all kinds of objectives, it's close to the end of the quarter, pressure. What do I really need from somebody coming in? And it's very simple. It's actually been the same for 30 whatever years that I've been hiring, and I've hired thousands of people, but it's even more pronounced in today's marketplace. What is the manager looking for? That great, big, fat, easy button. I don't need more stress in my life as an individual. I don't need it. I've got it up to here. My boss is yelling at me. I've got to deal with things throughout the day. So I need the easy button to hit. But what does that mean? What that means is I want a plug-and-play employee. In my ideal world, I don't want any problems. I want somebody who comes in who's completely ready to fill the role. I don't have to train them. I don't have to spend time with them. They never get sick. They're always there. They work endless hours and produce great results, and they can think ahead of me and get things ready for me. So if you actually ask a hiring manager, that's what they want, and they want it right away. Now, of course, it's not always that simple to get the easy button pushed, but you need to put yourself in that kind of a mindset when you're looking at what do you provide to an employer. So the easy button, you heard about the T individual in terms of having tremendous depth of knowledge on particular areas. So if I'm hiring in an accounting area or HR area, I want to know that the person that I'm hiring has an in-depth knowledge of that area. Why? Because it's easier for me. It's all about me at the end of the day, the person doing the hiring. It really is. It's easier for me if you have that knowledge. If you've already got it, I don't have to train you. I can ask you to do things right away. If you have the broader skill sets in terms of business acumen, in terms of team building, in terms of communication, again, it makes it easier for me as an organization or an individual who's hiring in terms of you've got that, you can work with the rest of the organization, you can fit in, you can do all of those things. So always put yourself in that frame of mind that you're really selling yourself and you've got to be this great big plug-and-play individual to make that manager hit the easy button. It's both true when you're going in, it's even more true in terms of how you grow in an organization. Because if you are providing all of that knowledge and that talent to individuals, you will get promoted because you will be noticed. Because throughout the organization, each level, I can assure you, they're all looking for that easy button. So how do you do that when you're first trying to go in the door? You have to show them your academic credentials, of course. You have to show them whatever work experience that is related. You have to show them some volunteer work that you've been involved in, anything that will give you some of the competencies that they're looking for in terms of hard knowledge, but also those soft skills. You know, have you actually utilized some of the leadership? Have you actually led teams before? You know, how is your communication when you're speaking to them either on the phone or in front of them in person? Have you shown previously the whole behavioral interviewing concept? Can you show them how you've previously used these skills? That's what you need to show an employer that you're ready for them, that they really want you. Because they're going to be inundated with applications. I think for every single job in the last, I'd say at least 5 to 10 years that I've ever posted or that we've ever filled in for, there's always been far more applicants than actual individuals and than positions available for those individuals. And the only ones that really come to the top are the ones with the superior qualifications and individual capabilities. So things like these continuing education programs were things that I would always look for. Why? Because if you've got a base foundation, but you've taken that extra step to gain the skills of knowledge in that area, that tells me two things. You have a true interest in that particular area, and which is important for me if I'm hiring you for that area. And number two, you've got the determination and the initiative to actually go ahead and do something like that. Take it on. Because in organizations today, again, with the easy button, keep thinking of the easy button, if you show that kind of initiative in your own personal life in terms of taking on extra courses, taking on extra duties, I know it's more likely that you'll do it in the workplace. And that's what I would want as a manager. So if you can weave all of those together, the knowledge that you've taken, the things that you do, either in volunteer organizations, in work that you've done, or activities within the school, and make yourself that perfect T individual, the odds of you acquiring a job significantly increases. And you've just got to convey that to the individuals to get your foot in the door. Once your foot is in the door, then you have to live up to all of those things. Think of the individual you're working for. What are his or her objectives? It's the first thing I would always do. And last few roles, I've been the head of HR for a number of different companies. And the things I'd always focus on first is, okay, what are the objectives, the annual objectives for the CEO and the C-level suite people? What is it that they're trying to drive into the organization? And then how can I add value with my team to make sure we actually achieve those objectives? That's hitting the easy button. That's going to make you a success in an organization. And that, at the end of the day, is really what people want when they're hiring. Put yourself in their shoes. It's a very simple scenario. What do you want? When you're busy all the time, the last thing you want to do is worry about anything else. You just want to keep hitting that easy button. So keep that in your mind as you're looking forward. Think of all of the other obvious things that you hear through all of your career counseling. They're absolutely true. Get the in-depth knowledge. Get the extracurricular activities. Display all of those activities, practice them somewhere. That will make you a stronger candidate, and you just want to be the best possible candidate that you can be. The other thing I would add to that is take a look, do your homework. Cultures in different organizations are very different. So if you have a truly entrepreneurial bent, if that's your style, and you find out that an organization you're applying for is a very bureaucratic, sedentary type of organization, there's not going to be a fit. And that's the other thing that employers look for, fit. And I know as new graduates coming out, or if you're looking to move up in your career, you sometimes are overly aggressive to say, okay, I know it's not quite the cultural fit, but I'm gonna tough it out and I'm gonna do it. I've done it, I think we'll all try to do it, but that's not the right way to do it. What you want to do is do your homework and say, does this organization make sense? Because if it really does make sense to you, guess what? It's going to make sense to them as well. They say, yeah, we see the attributes that you have are the ones that we want in our organization. So fit is always important. The more senior the role, the more important fit is. Moving up through an organization, fit counts for a lot. That's not personality, that's just fit with the culture. Have your own personality, absolutely. But is it entrepreneurial? Is it bureaucratic? Are long hours expected constantly or not? Is there flexibility? Find that out to make sure that you will fit and make yourself a better match.